and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be coming out late, but work is a priority, so here it is now. So the Nintendo Directs of 2024 have actually been more impressive than I would really expect, since we are consumer assumed the final year of the Switch. So I think a lot of us were expecting really nothing to come out of these two Directs for this year, but there's actually been quite a few games that have been added to my backlog just in these two Directs alone, and that's just the Switch. And that's not even counting Steam or PlayStation or anything else. So what was cool about this one was it was half an indie world and then the other half was a partner direct. So that was really cool. They haven't done that before, and I think that would be really cool for them to continue to do. But anyway, onto the games that I really liked and are now added to my list of games to get. So going in chronological order, we are going to start with the indies, and the first one is actually the game 𝕚𝕚𝕟𝕕, and that's from the creators of Gris, a game that I still have not played to this day because it looks like it's really sad, and I always put off getting or playing sad games, but it is a very beautiful looking game. I love the art style, I love all the colors that they use. The gameplay that is always shown in their games looks very smooth, and I do really want to play this. I am just a huge baby when it comes to games that would make me sad. For example, I have Spiritfarer on my Switch, and I still have yet to even open the game because I know it's going to make me sad. Now, the second game is also a game that I have not started yet. It'll make sense in a second, and that is the Sea of Stars DLC. So Sea of Stars is coming out with a free DLC, and I want to play Sea of Stars. The DLC looks awesome, but I have not even picked up Sea of Stars on any platform, and that's because just JRPGs are just such a huge undertaking for me because the typical ones, there's a lot of like grinding, the games are really long, just kind of baseline, and I just do not do well with them. If you want an example right now, I have in some point of my life started and stopped a number of JRPGs. Dragon Quest XI, halfway done. Persona 5, probably like 80% done, just sitting upstairs. I have Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince on the Switch in the background that you can't see because the mic is covering, but I'm still trying to just grind out levels to continue in that game. They're just a lot of work, and I'm just quite lazy. I don't really like the grind, so I tend to put off JRPGs even though I know I'd really like the story and the characters. It's just a struggle, but this, it looks like with all like the kind of 2024 slice of life, that's not the right word, quality of life improvements. I'll get it eventually. It looks like that will make this game more enjoyable for me. And so I'm actually very excited. This is on my list of games to get. So the next one is called 𝕚𝕟𝕟𝕟, and I would have never thought something as simple as the little peg game would be so enticing to me. You play as what looks like a little guy, you do the peg game. I always think of it as Plinko, but there's another game that is essentially the same thing. But you essentially play a game of Plinko, and that basically determines the turn that you take in battle. It determines how much attack you do to the enemy, how much damage you put out. You can heal with it. There's other buffs you can get. Like, it does like special things, like hits all of the enemies. Like, it looks really cool, and it looks really simple. It looks like the perfect game to like unwind the last like hour and a half of your day with. It looks really good. It looks really fun. I love just really simple games that people take and they're just like, this is really just a bare basic mechanic. Let's turn it into a core function of our game. I love that. It's so creative. Now, as a huge fan of this franchise who has barely played any of their games, I'm really excited for Shovel Knight, Shovel of Hope DX. And yes, I have a list over here. I'm looking at them because I don't remember the names. But I've honestly only played the roguelike Shovel Knight where you just dig down and down. I have Shovel Knight Treasure Trove on this computer right here. I just haven't started it because I get decision paralysis. But I love the mechanics that they show in all these Shovel Knight games. I'm really excited. So these are not new games. They're apparently the classics that have been redone for the Switch. And so I'm really excited because I think with this addition to my collection, I have all Shovel Knight games. I will have to check that. But that's great because I'm very weird about franchises and series. I like to play the first release to the current release in order. I don't know why. I just need to do it. I did that with Pikmin. I'm doing that with Bayonetta. So I really like that I can now, maybe that'll push me to start my Shovel Knight journey. That'll be exciting. 𝕬𝕝, the TikTok that on the Moonpie Sanctuary channel has the most views, somehow, an insane amount of views. But 𝕬𝕝, it is now coming out on October 11th. I'm very excited. That game looks amazing. It looks very cozy pastel open world. You can jump into airstreams and traverse. You have puzzles to do. It just seems like a very relaxing, I don't know, some of the aspects give me 3D platformer, which I love. Like all of the puzzle mechanics and stuff, it had you moving platforms, jumping to them. I love that kind of stuff. I eat that stuff up. And the traversal looks really fun. It looks like you can surf, you can fly. It looks really, really good. So I'm very, very excited. It looks beautiful. Like I'm very excited. October 11th. Okay, September is already going to be a very packed month. And I know some of that's going to push over into October for sure, so now we're getting into October games that I'm going to play. Oh, it's going to be a busy end of the year, and I was not expecting this year to be that busy. But another game that is going to keep me busy that actually comes out no, wait, it's not September yet. But in a few days, it'll come out in this month. Doesn't even make any sense. And that's the Plucky Squire. This has potential to be my game of the year. I just said 3D platformers are like my favorite genre. I grew up on platformers, got into 3D platformers, love them. The Plucky Squire seems like such refreshing breath of fresh air type take on it. I love it. The art style looks amazing. I love the color palettes they use, the creative just minds behind all these puzzles. Like, I've seen so many things for this. Everything I see, I'm following all of the official Twitter things, and they're posting constantly. I'm loving everything I'm seeing. I need this game. This has potential to be my game of the year. It looks amazing. And I feel like I've barely seen anything, but the mix of being in the book, being out of the book, traversing everything, it feels so nostalgic with the mechanics that I've seen in it, and I'm just so excited for this game. I cannot wait. I believe it's September 17th. I didn't write that down, but September 17th, the Plucky Squire. So that was my favorite from the indie world, but now we're moving on to the partner direct, and the first one is Star Overdrive. So it seems, just based on what I looked at, it gave a lot of Tower of Fantasy vibes with it. So I feel like if you are someone who is trying to still play Tower of Fantasy, and I hear it's not going very well for them, so if you want a different game that's not a gacha game, that you don't have to have those pay-to-win strategies behind your account to actually enjoy it, from a lot of people I've talked to, Star Overdrive seems like it might be able to fill that hole in your heart. So yeah, it seems very much like you have this desert that you're exploring, you have this hoverboard that is your lifeline, you use it to traverse, you use it to beat things up. There's puzzles. It seems great. It's up there with 𝕬𝕝 in the category of adventure puzzle open world type game. It looks great. It is right under 𝕬𝕝 for my priority to play, but it looks really good, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it. It has this really nice art style. It looks really smooth with all the gameplay it showed. It looks really good. So the next one is the Dragon Quest III 2D HD remake. Could you have a longer title, Square Enix? But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I'm actually not even finished with the 2 Dragon Quest games that I've taken on already. So I will be adding Dragon Quest III eventually to the games I'm playing. Because Dragon Quest III, if you didn't know, it is apparently the first game in the story's chronological order. It is the prequel to 1 and 2, which will be getting released in 2025. And so that's the trilogy, the first trilogy in the game. So I am someone who I really want to get into certain franchises, and Dragon Quest is one of them after playing Dragon Quest XI. And I'm really excited to kind of see where the series started. So I'm very excited. It's not like a top priority game for me, but it is one that, like, instead of like being a 5-star priority, it's like a 3.5, 4-star priority. I'm very excited. It looks like they have a bunch of quality of life stuff. They've added a new class that you can play as. I believe that's the Monster Wrangler. I kind of want to play the Monster Wrangler, but I have to look at the other classes that they offer first before making my final decision. But it looks really good. That like beautiful HD 2D that like Octopath like did. It's just gorgeous to look at, and I am really excited because Dragon Quest is known to have really good stories. So that is another one that is definitely being added to my list. So I have never in my life picked up or been interested in any Rune Factory game, but somehow the trailer for, give me a second, Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, sorry, Guardians of Azuma, it looks really fun. Now granted, it didn't show a whole lot of like the gardening, like tending to your field stuff in there. It looked like a large focus was on the story, and I don't really know what the story is yet, but it actually looked very fun. It looked like it might be something that I enjoy. Now I don't know yet. I will have to kind of dig into maybe some like first impressions videos of it later on when it releases to see if I truly want to get into it. But I gotta say, like, Rune Factory actually made me like look at a game and go, hey, that looks pretty good. And I don't know why, just Rune Factory was just like never a game that I was interested in. It's just not for me. But I know a lot of people like it and they're going with this new direction. So either way, I'm happy for fans because every video that I've watched kind of covering this direct, they all said that they were super excited for this new direction for Rune Factory. So either way, I think this is going to be a quite successful game. Now the last one to wrap up this video is LEGO Horizon Adventure. Now, I think this isn't a sizzle reel, but I don't know. Funny thing is, I have both the actual Horizon games, like the real ones, on my PlayStation. I have the physicals on a shelf behind the camera right now. I have not played them because PlayStation has all the long games, so the backlog on the PlayStation always takes a lot longer than, say, the Switch or the PC. But I have both of them, and I haven't started them. And now I don't know where to put Horizon Adventure on my list of like my like backlog schedule, I guess you would call it. I don't know where to put it now. Do I play it first and then get hyped up to play the actual games? So I play the actual games, wait a bit, and then go to Lego? I think I'm probably going to do the latter because that just sounds better in my head. But yeah, so LEGO Horizon Adventure will actually be my first ever LEGO game, and I keep getting yelled at by 2 friends that I need to try LEGO games, that they're actually very, very fun. I have nothing against them. I just never, like, there was never a franchise, like, collaboration that caught my eye, but now they actually have done it with Horizon. So yeah, that'll be my first ever LEGO game, which is very exciting for me and my 2 friends. So I'm gonna be honest, going into this direct, I was expecting like a handful of games to catch my eye from the indie side, but really nothing new announcement-wise. For the partner direct, I expected stuff to be touched on like LEGO Horizon, stuff like, what was it? The Dragon Quest III remake, that has already been announced. I was expecting them to give us something for the new Zelda game, but I was not expecting like new announcements from the direct. And so I was actually quite impressed. I was not expecting to come out with, what did I have? 9 games added to my list. I was expecting 2 or 3 max from the indies alone, and that was it. So I'm actually very, very happy with what has happened this week in Nintendo. I was really expecting something for the Switch successor to be announced during this direct. Not like the announcement itself, but something like, hey, we have a hardware announcement like coming up in September or something like that, because they don't announce hardware with software type stuff. I know that. But now with nothing for that, I have no idea what's happening with the Switch successor. I thought for sure we would get something around now and it would come out next year. Now I have no idea. Is this thing coming out next year? Is it coming out in 2026? I have no idea. So I'm putting that out of my mind since nothing has been said for that. And I'm now focusing on the games that have been added to my backlog. So let me know in the comments below what your favorite games that were announced are. Let's see if we have the same. Let's see if you complained that I didn't put My Sims on here. I'm so sorry. My roommate is so thrilled for that, so he can be that for me. But yeah, also let me know. Did you think that this was a good direct, bad direct? Let me know your thoughts. I'm so curious on people's takes for this kind of stuff. It always seems like so skewed, like one way or the other. But yeah, that's it for me. I will see you in the next video. Bye.